Emily Carter once believed that safety was something you built slowly with routine, with familiar streets, with a house that smelled like laundry soap and dinner cooking on the stove. She believed safety lived in early mornings packing lunches and quiet evenings reading stories. Before bed, she believed if you worked hard and stayed kind, the world would meet you halfway. She lived in a small American suburb where nothing dramatic ever seemed to happen, a place where neighbors waved from their driveways and children rode bikes in slow circles. Emily worked at a medical clinic, answering phones, scheduling appointments, smiling at people who never noticed how tired she was. But she did not mind, because every evening she returned home to Lily. Lily was her whole world, a gentle child with thoughtful eyes who loved to draw animals and color the sky in impossible shades of purple and gold. Lily laughed softly, not loudly, and she listened more than she spoke. Emily used to say Lily felt things deeply, and because of that, Emily tried to keep the world soft around her. For a long time it worked. Life moved forward in predictable steps: school mornings, homework, dinners, bedtime stories, weekends at the park. It was not perfect, but it felt safe, or at least it looked safe from the outside. The first crack appeared quietly. Lily stopped asking questions at bedtime. She stopped talking about school with excitement. She began to wake up at night and stand silently in Emily's doorway waiting. Emily would pull back the covers, and Lily would crawl in without a word, clinging like she was afraid to disappear. Emily told herself it was a phase. Children changed. She thought they grow, they worry, they imagine things. She tried to believe that, but a mother's instinct does not stay silent forever. It watches, it waits, and then one day it speaks. That day came when someone knocked on the door early in the evening. The sound was ordinary, but Lily froze. Her body stiffened like a startled animal. Her breathing changed. Her hands began to shake. Emily saw fear in her daughter's eyes, the kind of fear that does not belong to childhood. Emily knelt and asked what was wrong. Lily shook her head and said nothing, but something cold settled in Emily's chest, a certainty that something real and dangerous had entered their lives. The truth arrived days later, on a gray afternoon when rain pressed softly against the windows. Emily was folding clothes when Lily walked into the room. She stood very still, as if movement itself required courage. "Mom," Lily whispered. Emily looked up and saw terror and shame tangled together on her daughter's face. She crossed the room and held her close, promising without words that nothing Lily said would ever push her away. What followed broke Emily in ways she did not know were possible. Lily struggled to explain, choosing words slowly, describing moments that felt wrong, moments that made her feel small, moments where her voice disappeared, moments involving someone Emily trusted, someone who had smiled in their home, someone who had been close enough to reach Lily when Emily was not watching. As Lily spoke, Emily's heart raced. Rage, fear, guilt, and disbelief crashed together. But she stayed still. She listened. She let her daughter speak, because she knew this moment would shape Lily forever. When Lily finished, Emily held her for a long time. Neither of them cried, yet the world had shifted, and there was no way back. Emily reported what Lily told her. She followed every rule. She spoke to authorities, filled out forms, repeated the story again and again, while Lily waited in quiet rooms holding a stuffed rabbit with worn ears. But the system moved slowly. Investigations took time. Evidence was complicated. People spoke in careful language. Emily learned new words like procedure and protocol and insufficient proof. She also learned something terrifying. The person Lily described was not powerless. He had connections, people who were willing to doubt a child rather than face an uncomfortable truth. Emily felt the change in the air. Conversations shifted. Friends avoided her eyes. Advice arrived disguised as concern. She was told to be careful, to think about consequences, to consider how messy things could become. At night, Emily lay awake, listening to the house, the hum of the refrigerator, the soft ticking of the clock, the distant sound of cars. She wondered if staying was a mistake. She wondered if the walls that once felt protective were now closing in. She watched Lily closely, noticing how her shoulders tensed when footsteps passed outside, how she avoided doors, how she flinched at sudden noises. Emily realized safety was no longer something they had. The hardest truth arrived slowly. Staying meant risk, leaving meant loss. Emily had built her life piece by piece. Her job paid the bills, her home held memories, her community was familiar, but none of it mattered if Lily was not safe. One night, Emily sat alone at the kitchen table after Lily fell asleep. She stared at her hands, thinking about everything she would lose: the job, the house, the sense of normalcy she fought so hard to maintain. Then she thought about Lily, waking every night afraid. That was the moment Emily chose. She would leave. She told almost no one. She packed quietly, selling furniture, giving away what she could not take. She fit their lives into boxes and bags, keeping only what mattered: clothes, photographs, school books, and Lily's favorite rabbit. When Lily asked questions, Emily told her they were starting fresh, somewhere new, somewhere safe. They left before sunrise. The streets were empty, the sky pale. Emily drove with both hands on the wheel, watching the familiar town fade in the mirror. Her chest ached with grief, but beneath it lived resolve. The road ahead was uncertain, but Emily felt something she had not felt in months: movement toward safety. They arrived in a small town far away. Emily rented a tiny apartment above a laundromat. It was noisy, cramped, and nothing like the home they left, but it was theirs. Emily worked constantly. She cleaned offices at night, answered phones during the day, slept when she could, worried when she could not. Some nights exhaustion pressed so hard she cried silently so Lily would not hear. But Lily changed. She slept through the night. She laughed again. Her drawings returned filled with color. She walked lighter. She spoke freely. Those small changes told Emily everything she had chosen right. Healing was not simple. There were therapy sessions, long silences, sudden tears, days when anger surfaced. Without warning, Emily learned to listen without fixing, to sit with pain without fear. Slowly, Emily rebuilt her own life. She took online classes, saved money, found steadier work, built routines that felt safe again. Years passed. The pain softened, though it never vanished, but it no longer ruled them. Emily sometimes remembered the life she left behind, but regret never stayed. She had chosen her daughter. She had chosen safety over comfort, love over fear, action over silence. Emily never called herself brave. She believed she did what any mother would do, but courage is often quiet. It looks like leaving in the dark, starting over with nothing, protecting a child at any cost. For Lily, that choice meant freedom from fear. For Emily, it meant discovering a strength she never knew she had. And for anyone listening, let this be a reminder: sometimes the hardest decisions save us. Sometimes walking away from everything is the only way to protect what matters most. Life in the new town unfolded slowly in careful steps. Emily learned which streets felt quiet, which grocery store stayed open late, which park felt safe enough for Lily to play. Emily learned how to stretch a dollar, how to smile at strangers without explaining herself, how to carry exhaustion without letting it show. Morning started before sunrise. Emily woke, quietly brewed coffee in silence, packed lunches, checked Lily sleeping peaceful for the first time in years. That sight alone gave Emily strength enough to face the day. Lily returned to school slowly, at first hesitant, unsure, but with each week she grew steadier. She made one friend, then another. She began raising her hand in class again. She spoke about books she liked and animals she wanted to draw. Emily listened carefully, treasuring every word. There were still hard days when Lily grew quiet again, days when memories returned without warning. Emily learned that healing did not mean forgetting. It meant learning how to live without fear controlling every breath. Emily sat beside Lily in therapy rooms, holding her hand, listening as professionals spoke about safety, trust, boundaries, words Emily wished she had never needed to learn, but she listened because knowledge meant protection, and protection meant love. At night, Emily sometimes felt the weight of everything she had done: the career. She paused, the friendships. She left the home. She abandoned some nights. She questioned herself, wondering if she had overreacted, if things might have turned out differently. But then Lily would laugh in her sleep, or wrap her arms around Emily without reason, or say thank you for making pancakes, and the doubt would disappear. Emily began to understand something powerful: love does not always look gentle. Sometimes love looks like disruption. Sometimes it looks like sacrifice. Sometimes it looks like choosing uncertainty over danger. As months passed, Emily found better work. She was promoted, trusted, valued. Her confidence returned slowly, like a muscle being used again. She started to believe she could build a life again, not the one she planned, but one shaped by truth and strength. She made friends who did not ask questions, friends who accepted her for who she was now, not who she used to be. They shared coffee, laughed, quietly watched their children play. Emily felt herself breathing easier. Lily continued to grow. Her drawings filled notebooks, her laughter filled rooms, her fear loosened its grip. She talked about dreams again, about becoming an artist, about traveling, about helping animals. Emily listened with tears she never let fall. Years later, Emily realized the fear that once ruled her life had changed shape. It no longer whispered danger, it whispered pride. She was proud of Lily, proud of herself, proud of the choice she made when it mattered most. Emily sometimes told her story quietly, not for attention, not for praise, but for other women who looked tired, who looked afraid, who stood at crossroads with impossible choices. She told them survival can be brave, silence can be broken, safety can be rebuilt. She learned that courage is not loud. Courage does not demand recognition. Courage often lives in the quiet moments, the unseen sacrifices, the choices no one applauds. Emily taught Lily something without ever saying it aloud. She taught her that her voice mattered, that her safety mattered, that she was worth everything. And Lily carried that lesson into the world, standing taller, speaking clearer, trusting herself. The past never disappeared entirely, but it no longer defined them. It became a chapter, not the whole story. Emily understood now that leaving was not running away, it was moving toward life, toward truth, toward a future where fear no longer decided their fate. She left everything behind once, and in doing so she saved everything that mattered. If you are listening to this and standing where Emily once stood, afraid, uncertain, overwhelmed, remember this: you are not weak for protecting what you love, you are not wrong for choosing safety, you are not alone. Sometimes the bravest thing a woman can do is walk away from everything she knows and trust that love will guide her forward. Emily did, and because she did, her daughter grew free. And that is what courage looks like. There are moments late at night when the world grows quiet and memories rise without warning. Emily sometimes sits by the window watching streetlights glow and thinks about how close she came to losing everything that truly mattered. She thinks about how fear once wrapped around her heart and how love cut through it, stronger, sharper, more determined. She remembers the woman she was before, afraid to disrupt the life she built, afraid to question what seemed normal, afraid to trust her instincts fully, and she feels compassion for that woman because she knows now how heavy fear can be. Emily also knows this fear does not disappear on its own. It loosens its grip only when challenged, only when faced, only when love steps forward and refuses to move aside. She watches Lily, now taller, stronger, her eyes bright with confidence that once felt impossible. Lily moves through the world without shrinking, without apology, without the constant weight of vigilance. And in those moments, Emily understands the full meaning of what she did. She did not just protect her daughter from harm, she protected her future. She protected her sense of self, her belief that the world could still be kind. Sometimes Lily hugs her without saying a word. Sometimes she says thank you out of nowhere, and Emily feels something settle deep inside her chest, a quiet knowing that every loss, every sleepless night, every sacrifice was worth it. Emily never tells Lily how afraid she was, how unsure she felt, how often she cried alone, because Lily does not need to carry that weight. What Lily carries instead is safety, trust, and love. And that is enough. If this story finds you in a moment of doubt, let it remind you that strength is not always loud. Strength is choosing love when fear demands silence. Strength is believing a child when the world hesitates. Strength is walking into the unknown because staying still would cause more harm. You may lose comfort, you may lose certainty, you may lose the life you planned, but you will gain something deeper, something unbreakable. You will gain the knowledge that when it mattered most, you chose protection over convenience, truth over denial, love over fear. Emily chose that path. And though it was hard, though it demanded everything she had, it gave her something greater than safety. It gave her peace. And peace is the quiet reward of courage.